Hey, everybody, welcome back to another podcast. Just giving a few minutes for those to be notified that we are live. We're going to get into the topics at hand today. So, we will be talking about what happened with Boost Mobile. Um, Also, a bit of change with Helium Mobile and something that they've just recently introduced. And then also talking a little bit about Google Fi. So, here in a minute, I'll pop the camera on. We'll have a nice conversation, but I'm just giving it like a minute or two just for notifications to go out. But if you're joining in, feel free to say hello. We'd love to know who's here and who's a part of the conversation. But I am ready to go for about an hour. Got my my gallon of water. I've been on this thing of like drinking a gallon of water a day. So while I'm waiting for more people to join in, say hi, say hello. I'll kick the camera on here in just a second. But yeah, my gallon of water. My partner in crime today. Oh, man. I slept pretty decent. I will say that. Hold on. Switch the camera a little bit. There we go. But I slept great. I think my sleep time, according to my watch, 7 hours and 15 minutes of sleep. So I've been tracking my sleep. Just to kind of have an idea. So I will say this though, the battery on the Pixel Watch Gen 1, right? I haven't upgraded to the second generation Pixel Watch. I don't find a need to. But this battery life with always on display is actually really good. So so far, I've just been leaving it on. Right now, I got 40% battery left. I've had this on since 24 hours ago, I would say. I put this on around 12 noon yesterday. So it'll probably make it till this evening, which then I'll throw it on the charger. How are you guys doing? We'll get these started up here in just a minute. I gotta grab one thing real quick, so I'm gonna go off cam. I'll be right back. Hang on. It'll remind me a little later on that put a timestamp in so people can see when things start up. I just gave Boost another chance because I love the features of the Solero, the third gen Solero. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Hopefully your experience is really good. All right, let's bring you guys into the equation. But yeah, Eldon, use what you like to use. You know what I mean? Like, I always feel weird if people feel like they have to justify their decisions. I don't think people need to justify their decisions for anything. You know, you use what you feel like using. All we can do as people that are on the outside of your personal use is just respect your decisions. But, to explain that you're giving them another chance, that's, I hope that the second chance that you're giving them, they don't squander it. Yesterday, it's kind of funny. I'll share the story with you guys before I begin. Yesterday, my wife was about ready to leave Boost Infinite. She literally contacted them to get her account info and her transfer pin so she can transfer her number. And the account's under my name. And so the guy was like, you've been with us for over a year. I can credit half your bill. So as soon as I heard him say that they were going to credit half her bill, I was like, oh, she's going to go for it. And she looked right at me and she's like, yeah, she'll take it. Credit half her bill. So, she's still with Boost Infinite. The best thing I could do to help her out, because the reason why she was gonna make the jump away from Boost Infinite is because her phone line is on the AT&T side, and it's just data is just really horrible in that connection. And so you know, give me 1 second. Hey, babe. Hold on. Hang on. 1 second. Just hold on 1 second, babe. All right, sorry about that. And I did not know she was gonna call. Guess something was going on. However, okay. Anyways, that was my wife. So yeah, to finish off that story real quick, and then we'll jump right into today's subjects. So I ended up just opening up, a second line for her, and so she's using that. Basically, she has the switcher turned on her Pixel 7a. What's up, Gene? And so anytime, signal's weak with, like, say, the Boost Infinite SIM she has in there, it'll automatically switch to her Helium SIM. And so she'll, have coverage wherever she goes in the city. So anyways, so I wanted to talk about Boost Mobile. It's been crazy. I know Sneed has talked about it. He's done, I think, like 2 videos on the situation. I just find it weird that, he had to explain himself to a certain degree. Very polite of him to do that. But, I am going to address that. So it's no secret that there are people who talk to Sneed on the side. They remain, in the down low. They give him the information that, he needs to be able to provide that information to everyone that subscribes to his channel. I mean, that's just how it goes. So for people to think that, he's just stirring the pot, let me just say this. It's really hard to trust Dish if there is some sort of data breach, some sort of cyber attack, because the very big cyber attack of 2023 that impacted Dish and impacted both Boost Infinite and Boost Mobile, they were so tight-lipped on, they didn't tell anybody about it. Like, nobody knew. Nobody had an idea. Nobody knew really what was going on. It was, I call them the unsung heroes of the customer care team, who decided to take to places like Reddit and anonymously share what was really going on behind the scenes when it came to Dish and what happened to them. So because of that very reason, anytime that there's some sort of issue, system outage, system down, and I'm not talking about network outage, I'm talking about system outage where they can't do certain things. The one thing that sticks in the back of our heads is like, oh no, did someone hit Dish again? Is Dish suffering, another attack? Those types of things. That's what. Yeah, it's a tough spot for Dish. It really is. Anytime that something bad happens, it's always a tough spot for Dish. So what initially happened with Boost Mobile, and like the primary thing that was really recognized by Boost Mobile, Boost Mobile customers, was that their system, Boost Mobile prepaid system, was down for adding new lines and payments, that sort of thing, right? It was down on Thursday. It lasted into Friday evening, right? Here's the thing about that. And I'm not afraid to say it or whatever. I don't work for the company, so not worried about it. It's not giving away too much secrets. It's just literally telling you guys. There is a system that Boost Infinite and Boost Mobile uses. There's a system that they use. It's kind of like an operating system, right? If you want to put it in that context. It's like using Windows or using Mac OS, right? It's something like that. This system, I'm not going to tell you guys the name of it, but it governs every account that Dish has on their postpaid and prepaid. Put it this way: when I was working for Boost Infinite and somebody called in for Boost Mobile prepaid, like there was times where I would get a prepaid customer on the phone, and yes, through protocol, what we do have to tell them is like, oh, I see you're prepaid with Boost Mobile. You happen to have been routed over to postpaid Boost Infinite, but not to worry, I'll get you to the right person. Just bear with me on a brief hold. I'll get you transferred right now. That's what we have to do, right? Because if you're hired in customer care to work postpaid accounts, that's all you can touch. They have their own team of customer care that handles prepaid. However, could I see the customer's information? Abso-fucking-lutely, I can. I can see everything from their name, email address, last 4 digits of card on file, their phone number, the plan that they're on, the device that's active to their account. I can see all that. So technically, I could service the customer. If all they were doing is just processing a payment, then I can process that payment. Literally just, clicking, process payment, double checking that the amount that the system is going to charge them is correctly what they see on their end. So I would verify, like, okay, right now we're going to charge the card you have on file X amount of dollars. They tell me, like, yes, that's correct. And I hit process confirm, payment taken, right? So there is not 2 different systems. It's not like, there's one system that governs all of Boost Infinite. There's one system that governs all of Boost Mobile prepaid. No, it's the same system all the way through. So if it was down for prepaid, then it was down for postpaid to a degree. Now, not every Boost Mobile store is impacted by this, right? Some reported it, some reported they were okay. So, the word out was that IT was trying to fix an issue with it. And let me tell you guys, in my time that I worked with Dish, IT is always fixing something. There's always something broken, always. And there's never been a time that I worked with a company that I sat there and said, wow, everything's working flawlessly. No, there's always, a notification pop up letting us know this thing is down, that thing is down. Workaround is to do this, do that, until we give notified that it's fixed, right? It's always like that. Also, Dish Wireless also has another brand called Gen Mobile, so Dish has 3 brands. Gen Mobile, yes. Gen Mobile is kind of like the redheaded stepchild, if I want to put it in that context. So the system that governs both Boost Infinite and Boost Mobile and Project Genesis, those are all held under one system. Okay. Gen Mobile, they still kind of use their old system. I don't know if Dish is ever going to migrate them over. They probably already have. I don't know. But as far as the last time I remember, they're basically their own system. So, well, it didn't shut down anybody's phone service, so you would never have known. To say that your Boost Infinite service was not affected, it wasn't in that context where customers' phones were their phone lines were affected. It wasn't that at all. It was that store reps weren't able to process payments. They weren't able to add new lines. They weren't able to do any of that, basically, take payments and all that stuff. So that's the only real impact that, anyone had seen. For what I know is that the system itself was acting buggy in certain call centers. I have, my little info of people that kind of like feed me. And it's pretty cool too, because I don't even have to ask them. They just hit me up on a message to chit chat or whatever. And then it just pops out. But yeah, there were some people that were impacted at the care centers. And again, everyone's access is through logins, right? Not everybody has the same login information. So, it's just, yeah, my logins would be different from somebody else's. We would have access to the same system, but, you got to log in with your logins, obviously, so that anything that's done that you did to a customer's account is timestamped with your credentials so they know who did what. And there were some people that couldn't get access. There were some people that weren't able to get in A couple of people I know were sent home early for the day. They were just sent home. That's what they do. Because you can't sit around and do nothing. You can't just sit at your desk and spin your chair around and around and around and around, just eating up 8 hours a day. So they were given the option to leave early, and some people were able to leave early with full pay. I think that's cool if they do that. Usually they just have people go and take a VTO, voluntary time off. But yeah, they gave VTO with pay to some people, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's really what the debacle was. To say that it was another cyber attack, I mean, it really felt like it. A lot of people felt like that Dish had been attacked again, and we don't even know. It could possibly be. It definitely could possibly be. Like, they're not going to go out in the dark. Like, Dish will never go on their website for Boost Infinite and Boost Mobile and say, "Hey guys, just a heads up, we had a cyber attack impact us." Like, they didn't do that last year. Nobody knew until those unsung heroes took to social platforms and started leaking information out to let customers out there know, because every customer was in the dark. Some people, their bill was coming up. They were like, what am I going to do? It won't let me pay my bills. My service is going to get cut off. People had faced a lot of those problems, and Dish was very tight-lipped on the whole situation. So for this time around, if there was a cyber attack, they're not going to put it on social media for people to know. They're going to want to get a handle of it because, they definitely don't want to lose subscribers. I mean, obviously, they have their newly retention team. Their retention team has actually, I wouldn't say they're really new. They're almost a year old. That they came. Well, no, the retention team was pretty much built out and launched. I want to say mid-September to end of September. So now they have their retention team, and that's what their retention team does, is to retain customers from wanting to leave them. As they grow subscribers, because of the price that they offer, $25 a month for unlimited talk, text, and some data. They also have their iPhone access plan, their Galaxy access plan, and this gets you a new iPhone or a new Galaxy annually every year as an upgrade, just for being on it. Plus additional perks like some of the add-ons that you could just add on if you have a basic Boost Infinite line. So that's where their popularity is coming from. A lot of people have actually figured out that if you buy the device from Boost Infinite, they'll unlock your device in like 2 days. 2 days and your device gets network unlocked. But of course, that's buying it outright. That does, some people get that confused. It doesn't mean that because you finance an iPhone 15 that you can get it unlocked in 2 days. You have to pay the phone off before they unlock it, but they are simpler to unlock. However, some people still kind of join, Boost Infinite because they want the new iPhone, they want the new Galaxy. And I tell you, Dish, to finance under Dish, you have to have a really, really, really damn good credit score, because even people that figure they have decent credit get denied to finance a device. So that's like the tough spot. But, Dish, they're not ever going to be upfront with their customers. I will be honest with everybody. On their postpaid, on their prepaid side, they're never going to be upfront with their customers to that degree. All they're interested in doing right now is just accumulating more subscribers to be able to do a quarterly report and say that they have X amount of users on Boost Infinite and on Boost Mobile. Boost Mobile changing up its price plans. In the last year, they've changed it up a couple of times. They literally at this point right now, have the $25 plan, a $40 plan, and a $60 plan. And the only difference between them is that the $40 and the $60 plan gives you, ability to use hotspot on the prepaid side. You can add that on as an add-on from the last time that I remembered. In the Boost One app, you can add add-ons. You can add calls and text to Mexico. You can add a hotspot, which uses your full 30 gigabytes that you have for hotspot. It doesn't have additional, right? The $40 and $60 plan, those are additional hotspot. So I think one's like 12 gigs and one is 20 gigs or something like that. It's been a while. Doesn't Boost Mobile have the new Moto? It's not new. They just have a special edition Moto Razr. So it's the Coach Prime edition, which means that it has the Coach Prime tramp stamps all over it, which I'm not a big fan of. So yeah, but yeah, they have it. I think it's like $149 for it if you switch over. So But for me, like foldable technology is not something that I chase after. I can give two left nuts about foldable technology. Like to chase things just because it's like new and shiny to me. I'm kind of out of that phase. They upgraded their hotspot data from 5 GB to now 30 gigs. Why would they do that? Because before on the early access plan, you got 5 gigs of data on the early infinite access plan. If you wanted the full 30 gigs, and you got the hotspot add-on. The hotspot add-on allowed you to use your regular data for hotspot, so it didn't matter back then if you had your full 30 gigs of high-speed data for your phone line and you used all 30 gigs for hotspot. Then even if you were to just if you were just to use your phone regularly, your high-speed data would be gone. So that's funny. All right, let's see. Good. This is not something that I basically seen. So let me go to their plans real quick. That's their infinite unlimited. Yeah, they only really showcase. I mean, like here, I'll share the screen so you guys can see it too. They really only they only really like share their infinite access plans, right? So you don't even really see the base just up here, right? Plans starting at $25 a month is really all that they tell you. That's all they really tell you, because the first thing they lead off with is their infinite access for Galaxy, infinite access for iPhone, and then you have your the unlimited plus, and then unlimited here. Now here, no 30 gigs, no 30 gigs of the hotspot data you're talking about, Gene. How do you get to post? You mean postpaid plan? Like postpaid? Simply migrate over. Just making sure I'm correct on that, right? If you're talking about getting from Boost Mobile to Boost Infinite, you just contact Boost Infinite, just let them know you're your current Boost Mobile customer, and just migrate over to them. Of course, they're gonna run a credit check, so you got to be prepared for that. That's the reason why, like, that's what they do. If you go to boostinfinite.com, you try to sign up and say your credit is bad, then a little pop-up will come up and be like, you don't qualify for a line with Boost Infinite, but not to worry, we have the same great plan on prepaid, and then it'll direct you back to Boost Mobile. So you can go to boostinfinite.com and see if you qualify for it. Let's see. Yeah, they've had this for the longest time, Gene, if this is what you're referring to. The $10 a month add-on for data hotspot, use up to 30 gigs per billing cycle, but that uses your 30 gigs of high speed. So like, if you say you have 2 lines, right? So you could actually use one of your lines as hotspot if you need it, and just use a full 30 gigs on that. Because say you use 15 gigabytes of regular data on your phone, and then you turn on hotspot and you use 15 gigabytes of hotspot to like another IoT, then that's your 30 gigs right there. You'll be slowed down for the rest of your bill cycle. But they've always had that. The early infinite access plan. So if you were on Boost Infinite in their beta stage, then that was the benefit you got. You got 5 gigabytes of hotspot, which the regular $25 unlimited plan, once they fully launched, didn't come with hotspot at all. So that was the benefit of being on early infinite access, was being able to what was it? You had the hotspot that they gave you. You had I believe international calling. You had that on the early infinite access plan, which does not exist anymore. So there's no way anyone can get it, because you would have had to have signed up for Boost Infinite when they first launched their beta, which was back in towards the end of 2022. Like I signed up in November of 2022, and then I created another account for my wife in December of 2022. So yeah, you had to sign up for Boost Infinite for that one. It was very, very easy to come over to Boost Infinite when it first started, and it's been great ever since. I'm glad that the services have been great for you. I don't hate Boost Infinite. I think people kind of feel that for me. Like if I talk about Boost Infinite or Dish with Sneed, I think people feel that like, I have this great vendetta against Infinite, and I honestly don't. I really wish that, like, I want them to succeed. Like, don't get me wrong, I want them to be successful. But the thing that I despise of them is that they aren't transparent with their customers. Like, the way that I see it is like they look at all of you like you guys are idiots. And you guys are not idiots. You guys know phone services. You guys know smartphones today, right? There's not like how it was way back in the day. 12 years ago, people were going on YouTube to watch videos to learn about smartphones. Not actually back then, it was just regular phones, but feature phones and smartphones like back then. No one's doing that these days. Mostly everyone that comes across my videos is like well knowledge and well versed in the mobile tech space, and they're not even doing content about mobile tech. They work as lawyers, they work as social workers and construction workers, and they work, they have their own mom and pop stores, those types of things, and they're very well versed. So for me, when a company it has that type of arrogance to make it seem like that you guys don't know what you guys are talking about, so they don't have to disclose things to you, or they disclose things very vaguely, I think is really ridiculous. That is my biggest problem with them, and the fact that they're such in a rush to get people to join up with them and use their services and stuff like that. And they forget, like, the little things that people have issues with, they seem to sweep it under the rug as if they just don't want to focus on it. What? You can use whatever pan. Sorry. You're okay. But yeah, that's how it is. And then so the experience you guys run into issues, and it's like they don't want to fix it. Put it this way. Yesterday, like I told you guys in the beginning of this live stream, how I was going to port my wife's number out of Boost Infinite and bring her over to Helium Mobile. After the guy basically, made a save, which, shout out to him. He made a save. He saved the customer from walking away. We had a pretty fun conversation afterwards. He was just like, aside from that, did you guys have any other issues? Did you want me to troubleshoot the data connectivity issue? And I told him, no, I know why it is that way. So we went into this whole thing, and, he submitted feedback to Dish, another one of the probably millions of feedback that they already got on the same subject. And I told him, the feedback that I want you to give to Dish Corporate is probably one you guys get a lot. And that is, your systems should allow you guys as customer care reps to switch a customer over from AT&T dependence to the T-Mobile dependence or to their native Dish dependence. Like, the system to auto-generate that is crap. Because I know what their excuse is. Their excuse, literally what their excuse is that, the system auto-generates not just on data connectivity, but on voice quality and the ability to send text messages. And hey, that's great. You know what I mean? That's absolutely fantastic. But your system doesn't live in my area, doesn't live in my address, so it can't really know how good the connection is going to be. Like, AT&T in my city has gone down in network quality. And today, most people use data more often than calling and texting. To be quite honest, and stop me if I'm wrong, but people tend to use like chat applications and things like that to communicate with their friends and family. This is why the issue between RCS and iMessage is not even an issue anymore. There are people who use iMessage and still continue to love the experience they get from iMessage in messaging their friends and family that have iPhones. But majority of people today use third-party chat apps. They use things like Facebook Messenger, or they'll message and call people on Instagram DMs. They'll use Telegram. They'll use WhatsApp. There's a lot of chat apps out there that people will also use in able to actually call one another. Ask Xavier. The heat should be at 4, but anything else you need to cook it, Xavier knows too. Bye-bye. So with that, I don't know. Boost is just very, very nuts. Their whole thing is very nuts. So anyways, yeah. Wanting them to allow you guys to be able to have the ability to choose where you're going to go to. Because again, the whole smart switching thing, being able to switch between Dish, AT&T, and T-Mobile, that's only accessible to phones that actually can support that. Which, not going into technical terms here, but it has to be able to support Dish's native 5G in order. So the Rainbow SIM, yes, it does. It's kind of smart switch you around. But even then, people are reporting that it's not flawless like how it's said to be. Like, it's easy to say, yeah, switch between AT&T, T-Mobile, and Dish. You got poor AT&T coverage, you'll switch to Dish. That seems simple enough as is. But it's not that simple. And I knew that it wasn't going to be that simple because Google Fi was the same way. Google Fi was all about, the power of two networks, Sprint and T-Mobile back in the day. And then they made a deal with US Cellular to use US Cellular also. So now they had the power of 3 too, way before Boost Infinite even did it. And theirs was very close. There was times when I had Google Fi service and my phone would easily switch. Like, I would literally see it switch. Like, I had an app that, would tell you, called Fi Switcher, and it would tell you if you were on Sprint side or on T-Mobile side. And I would literally see it on the top status bar ticker, and you would see like T-Mobile, and you would see it all of a sudden change to Sprint because Sprint was better in the area. However, there were times that it didn't work flawlessly. There was times where like I would go in an area and Sprint was absolute garbage and it wouldn't switch away from it. It would stay stuck onto it. So I would have to use the Fi Switcher app to manually force the switch over to T-Mobile to get better connectivity. So if Google Fi, who had that pretty much that feature going on for them before they decided to go full in on T-Mobile, if theirs wasn't working flawless, when Boost Infinite started saying that theirs was going to work and it was going to be fantastic and great, I was like, good, but I don't think you guys have it. I don't think you guys are going to have it like that. Your intentions are good, but your execution is poor. That is the problem with Dish. Those are the bones I have to pick with Dish. It's like they want to half-ass everything to try to get, to where all the other big timers are at, right? They're in a race. And Boost Infinite went to the starting line a couple years ago and took off from the starting line, but they're trying to eat up a quarter-mile step at a time rather than building out correctly and getting to where they need to be. And because they half-ass everything, they don't suffer the consequences. Customers do. Every day in my group, there's always somebody posting about a bad experience that they have. And I'm not saying that every Boost Infinite customer is having bad experiences. There are some that have no bad experiences at all. They are totally happy with the services. And for me, I'm just like, that is great. Hope it never comes to you in that form where you end up having a bad experience. Because that's the goal, is for everyone to have a good experience. Like, that's the last thing you need to be worried about is your mobile phone service provider. I'm about halfway through my daily gallon of water. Anyways, nobody wants to have a bad experience with any provider. And I don't want anyone to have a bad experience with the provider. So I'm always like glad and happy when I hear someone saying Boost Infinite is fantastic. It's the best move they ever made in their life, and they're happy to be there. Yeah, I'm happy for you that you're there, and I'm happy that your services are great. Will I go back to Boost Infinite? Maybe one day. One day, maybe. But right now is not that time for me. So anyways, just to kind of put it out there, was there a cyber attack? No. Not that we can confirm. It sure as hell looks like it, but that's still speculation. And that's why I keep like posting when I talk about it that it's speculated not proven. However, with more and more things like this happening with Dish, it's only gonna hurt them even more when these types of things happen. So my advice to Dish, because I've been backing Boost Mobile for years, way before Dish even acquired them. I will say this as they're continuously to kill off the brand that I like so much. And that is, Dish, y'all need to slow down. You need to focus on the things that you're getting feedback from your customers about and start fixing those things and not like sweeping them under the rug and saying, well, the more that we launch our network and build out more, the better things will be. Because these little problems like activation is probably one of the biggest fuck ups that Dish goes through. You got people who've ported their number over and got a Galaxy S24 Ultra and can't freaking activate the thing. And they're being told by customer care reps, oh, it's not Boost Infinite, it's the phone you got. The phone you got is defective. And then instead of trying to help them, you refer them to Samsung, and Samsung's like, that's not our deal. It should be fine. And then you have your customers who are having a bad, experience trying to activate their brand new Galaxy S24. You're telling them to file an insurance claim, which, obviously anyone knows an insurance claim on your phone requires a deductible to be paid up front. So the deductible could be like $500. It could be like $250, whatever Assurion sets it at. And so you pay that deductible and the insurance covers the rest. And then you get a phone sent to you that's probably, refurbished or whatever. You're putting customers through that type of bad experience. And the messed up part is that some of your customers, because they come to my group page on Facebook and they post about it, they'll throw a different SIM card into that Galaxy S24. And what do you know? The fucking thing works. And it's like, so if it works with another provider, yet they bought it from you, tells you that your system, your activations, everything is a clusterfuck. You need to fix it. Okay, stop worrying about getting more 5G Dish connectivity in more cities or whatever. And start having your IT team kick into fucking high gear and get that shit fixed. The whole country is watching Boost Infinite. Why? Because they are offering service at a cheap price. And you got other companies that are pretty much, on that point. Mobile X offers 30 gigs of high-speed data with unlimited talk and text for $24.88. With taxes, comes out to about $25. Okay, you got Helium Mobile that offers the same thing for $20. You got a lot of companies. Hell, even one of the top prepaids, Metro by T-Mobile, that would not ever dare drop their prices down to $25, has a $25 promotional plan for porting over to them with unlimited talk, text, and data, no hotspot, but that's still unlimited talk, text, and data for $25. So for Boost Infinite to be, a good competition with the other brands out there, for their prepaid brand, Boost Mobile, to survive, then these little things that are plaguing them, they need to address and fix it. Dish is trying to get out of the TV service. They know that TV is not the way anymore because we have so much streaming services like Netflix and Hulu and all that. That's why Dish has Sling TV. They're really competing in that area, but this is why they jumped into the mobile phone game, is because they wanted to be viable. They wanted to continue to make money, and regular television is just not it anymore. But if you're going to step in and start eating on a different plate than you're used to eating, bring some fucking meat to the barbecue. Fix your shit. So the experience would be so much better, because it's not really using the services that is the ultimate, screw up of Dish. It is joining Dish that is the biggest problem. And people don't want to sit around and wait. I am shocked that there are some people patient enough because they got the new iPhone 15 Pro Max or they got the new Galaxy S24 Ultra and they haven't been able to activate their phone and they're porting in their number from another provider and they're still waiting. And it's been 3 weeks for some of them. Some people have waited 3 fucking weeks. That's way too long. Like, contact NPC and find out why the port is failing. What is happening? Is the number stuck in limbo? Like, what is happening? I know they have access to it. That's one of the numbers on their contact list for care reps, is contacting NPC, National Porting Center. That's what they need to fix. So yeah. Shout out to Dish. Hopefully they listen to the people and they make these changes. Hopefully their IT team is working on some of these problems. And if you're a part of the replay crew and you've experienced these problems, feel free to share in the comments. You can always type in a comment, ask a question, or share an emotional outburst. I will read it later. I don't mind. But yeah. Anyways, we gotta switch tracks here now. We gotta talk about Helium Mobile. Helium Mobile. I'm using it. I actually have 2 lines with them on both my phones, my iPhone 11 Pro Max and my Pixel 6. Those are my 2 daily driver devices I'm going to be using for a while. I'm not switching out into any of my other devices. My youngest daughter has Helium Mobile. My oldest daughter, and I don't know what happened, why my computer went to sleep. But anyways, my oldest daughter is using the Metro by T-Mobile line because she uses a lot of data. So I just put her on something that has like no limitations really to it. And the service has been great with Helium Mobile. Okay, it's been great. In my city, this is a large city. Phoenix is pretty large. There are people who have Helium Mobile hotspots deployed outdoor and indoor. So I am able to link to them. I am able to always have, great coverage wherever I go in my city. But that's not the change that, I want to kind of focus on because, there are a lot of other content creators, influencers that have promo codes just like mine. My promo code lets you try out Helium Mobile. Your first month is free. And they still haven't fixed this, so let me just kind of like inject this in here. When you're going through the setup process of setting up Helium Mobile, and you see right before you hit confirm and pay, after you plug in, your card info for future payments, it's gonna say $20.61. That's telling you the details of your plan. That's not what they're charging you right there to start. If you use my promo code, all you're paying is $1 to prove that your card is active. That's it. You're not be paying the $20.61. It gets a lot of people confused, and I keep giving that feedback to Nova Inc. So they know to kind of change it up because it freaks people out. It makes them think they're going to be charged $20 and then they cancel. I can assure you, okay, I just created a new phone line yesterday on my iPhone 11 Pro Max and didn't pay a cent for the bill. Just all they did was they charged me $1 to prove that my card that I was going to use for payment was active. That's it. So, there's a lot of people who have been abusing that. They have literally been using people's promo codes, signing up, getting a month free, and then canceling before the end of the month, and then recreating a whole new account. So you may notice there is a difference with Helium at this point. Helium has made a big change when it comes to that. At this time right now, when you sign up for Helium Mobile, you build yourself an account and everything like that. There is a point where they're going to want to verify your identity. And that is your first, last name, your address, the same things that you do when creating an account. But then, a live photo of your face matched with an image of your ID card. And it's going to be weird. Some people are going to feel like it's weird because some people are very, very scared about that type of thing. And so they're like, hell no, no one's going to get a copy of my driver's license, or no one's going to get a copy of my face. I totally get that. And I understand why people would not want to join Helium Mobile now that they're asking for that as a requirement to prove who you are, because there's people that's abusing those that have, the 1 month free trial promo code to offer, their subscribers, their friends. There's people who's abusing it. And this is one of the ways that they stop that abuse from happening. Because if someone was to use my promo code and get 1 month, and then 3 days before their first month is over, they cancel, create a whole new account, they're basically going to be getting services for free, which you really don't need to do that. This is one of the things that I stressed out to a lot of people. You don't need to game the system to get free months. If you do mapping on your Helium Mobile device, you earn tokens. Those tokens can be used to pay your bill. My main phone line on Helium, I'm not paying a bill on this until July. I've already prepaid 2 months in advance with the tokens that I've earned. And I've earned those tokens in the length of like 26 days. 26, 27 days, almost a month of just mapping every day, not a day missed. And I was able to earn enough to be able to pay basically 2 months ahead. So you can get free service. You don't have to game the system. Just turn on mapping and map your area, map where you commute to. So that way Helium can see what areas are weak, what areas have good coverage, where they need to kind of get more people to get the hotspots in this area of your city. That's what they're doing the mapping for, to build out their peer-to-peer network. And so if you do the mapping, you earn tokens. You can use that. If you decide to buy one of their indoor hotspots and deploy a connection for people nearby to connect to that are Helium customers, you earn tokens that way. If you get the outdoor hotspot and you put up, a little mini tower with the outdoor hotspot node on it to broadcast signal, people that connect to that signal, if they're Helium mobile customers that connect to it, because they're the only ones that can connect to it, you earn tokens by doing that. You can earn up to $20 on one line, right? So if one line is always actively connected to your hotspot, you can make $20 off of it per day. So that's like if you have 5 lines connected to that hotspot daily, right? That's $100. So you literally can make enough, and it's only $20 a month. So if you had 5 lines connected for one day to your hotspot, whether indoor or outdoor, and you've made the maximum you could off of each phone line per day, you would have more than enough to pay 3 months in advance. But you can always pay in increments of 3 months in advance. Can't go any higher than that. So there's no reason to game the system and use these promo codes and cheat. There's just no reason to. Helium has you to use 2FA in order to set up service. Yes, in order to get access. In order to build your account and to get access to your account, you have to create a 2FA. You actually have to use something of an authentication app like Google Authenticator. You have to, because your mobile app is also your mobile wallet for your crypto. A little bit different, right? You go to Metro, you go to Boost, you go to freaking Cricket, you go to any of those, right? And it's just your phone service. It's just your name, address, the card you have on file, the type of service plan you have. On the Helium mobile app, it is all those things plus your crypto wallet with your crypto wallet address, which is what someone would need if they want to steal your tokens, if they wanted to actually hijack all your tokens. So yeah, you have to have that extra layer of security with Helium mobile. You have to use something like Google Authenticator in order to keep your your connection and your login secure. You definitely need that. What's up, Andy Logan? What's going on? I had Cricket for 7 years and still have Cricket with no problems. That's great. Cricket will work great in your area. So then you know what? You're good. You go to a different area and then you'll find out it might be just as good in different areas, or it might not be. I mean, that's just how the mobile phone service game is. It's never perfect in one area. But yeah, given that, so now they changed it up to do this. Like, you got to verify you are a real person and you are who you are when signing up with Helium Mobile. So you cannot game the system and keep, making accounts. Because that's one of the things that they're trying to do, is weed out all these dead accounts that are just people who signed up using somebody's promo code. And because if you use a regular person's promo code, you get $5 off. You get $5 off your first bill. If you use, like an actual partner's promo code, you get your first month free. And I'm using that as a way for me to earn some side money, because today, any little bit of money I can scrape up on the side helps when it comes to, because everything is so damn expensive these days. Food, gas, rent, electricity, everything costs so much these days. I got to scratch and claw for every little thing. So, and I figured if anyone wants to try out Helium Mobile and, wants to be able to do what I'm doing, then they can do it. They can earn tokens themselves and, basically have somewhat of a free service for as long as this lasts. I will never say that this mapping thing that Helium is doing is going to last forever. It may not. But, like, use it while you can now, So for now, I'll just keep mapping, paying my bills ahead of time, so I don't got to worry about a phone bill, and I'm good. And with all those that's out there, you look at a company like Google Fi, and you kind of frown at Google Fi as to why their growth is so slow. Fi really is great for those who travel outside of the United States. That's where they really kick major butt at. If you're going to be traveling outside of the US, they are great for that. They are great for you to use for international carrier. They are. Downside to that is that their plans are so pricey. Like, $50 for this certain plan, and it's crazy. Like, let's go to their account. Well, let's go to their stuff and see what deals they have. It is pretty pricey. That is one of the reasons I won't recommend Google Fi. The other reason why is just because their customer service is very poor, and very crappy. There we go. So Google Pixel 8 on us with $300 off. So remaining $399 back over 24 monthly bill credits. So again, and they have the Google Pixel 7a with $200 off. So the remaining $299 back over 24 months bill credit. Everything's on bill credits. And then let's see, where can you switch it? Because we don't want two lines. We want just one line. But yeah, those are family plans. The devices that they have, they got you covered. They're like, oh, let's see. So just for one line of service, $50 for unlimited. You get 5 gigs of hotspot, unlimited talk and text, which is only 35 gigs of high-speed data, and then you are slow down for the rest of your bill cycle. You have their unlimited plus at $65 for one line, unlimited hotspot tethering, but that is your 50 gigs of data. Data included in 200 destinations, calls from the US to 50 plus destinations, unlimited shareable data with tablets, 6 months of YouTube Premium, and you get the 100 gigabytes of storage with Google One. And then you go on their flexible plan if you want to, and that's still pricey compared to something like Mobile X. So it's $20 for unlimited talk and text plus $10 per gigabyte of data that you use. And it's tough on that because you got Mobile X that clearly defeats this flexible plan because their unlimited talk and text is just $4.50 a month. Every gigabyte of data you use is $2.10. That's $7.90 cheaper than Google Fi. But you can use your data in 200 plus destinations, which Mobile X is opening up for international usage as well. So it's pretty sad. Let's see, unlimited calls and texts to Mexico. And here it is. You have to explore the plan deeper. 35 gigs, which, people will say 35 gigs is enough for a person in 1 month's usage, right? But you're paying $50 for that. Whereas, like, if you go on Mobile X, it's $25 for it. If you go on Boost Infinite, it's $25 for a similar plan. If you go, to Helium Mobile, it's $20 for a similar plan like that. The pricing just doesn't match. They're expensive. They have to know that they're expensive. They're not postpaid. They're an MVNO. They're prepaid in the sense if you go with their unlimited versions, like the $50 or $65 version, it's prepaid. You pay the $50 first, you use the services. If you go on their flex plan, the unlimited talk and text is prepaid. You pay $20 for that. The data is billed postpaid because obviously you have to use the data first before they can calculate how much you owe for data costs. It's absolutely weird. However, you don't see a lot of people that want to join up with Google Fi unless you're a tech nerd who's all about Google products, and then you'll probably see them on Google Fi. Like Google Fi has some great things going for it. Like, I don't hate the company either. Just because I talk bad about them doesn't mean that it's bad. Like, I hate them. It's just they really need to come with the times and to be more competitive. Like, you have companies like Boost Infinite that's competitive to T-Mobile. You have Helium Mobile that is competitive to T-Mobile. So why can't Fi just stop being sit and be competitive too as well? I know that amongst all the MVNOs on T-Mobile's network, Google Fi is the one that is probably one of the biggest threats because you have all these things, unlimited data usage. You have, the $65 plan. You can, when they talk about you can have shareable data to a tablet. What they mean by this is if you have an LTE tablet, then you can get a data only SIM card that's connected to your phone line that you can put it like put it pretty much this way. If the Unlimited Plus was something that I was willing to spend my money on, I can have my main line on my Google Pixel, which has the phone call and texting, and then got a data only SIM card and put that SIM card in my iPhone 11 Pro Max because I don't take phone calls or make phone calls on my iPhone. I use FaceTime, I use iMessage, and then I use other chat services and then the apps. So I'm strictly only using data on my iPhone. I wouldn't need the phone number for a phone call and text. So that would be great if you're a person that has to have two different phones. That would be great. Honestly, if I was to price these things out, Unlimited Plus would be $50 because a lot of companies out there are offering something similar at half the price, right? Or maybe like $25 for unlimited calls, text, and 30 gigs of data. And then they're doing like a $5 or $10 add-on for unlimited, not unlimited, but international calls. Some of them do unlimited international calls, right? And that's still half the rate as what Google Fi is charging. I mean, I could understand $65 a month if we still had connection to, US Cellular. Maybe they replaced the connection to Sprint with Verizon. If they did something like that, then I can understand why the price is so high because you're getting access to 3 different networks. But Google Fi customers are not getting 3 network access anymore. They're all solely dependent on T-Mobile. Yes, Google Fi has roaming agreements with Verizon and AT&T and US Cellular. So if you're in areas where T-Mobile has no coverage, AT&T is what you're going to be connected to for that. Those are roaming agreements, but to actually have like full wide open access to those networks like they did when they were a 3 carrier provider is not the same. So for me, I would drop down the Unlimited Plus plan to $50, the Simply Unlimited to $40, and then of course the Flex $10 for unlimited talk and text, and I definitely would knock down the price down to match Mobile X at $2.10 per gigabyte. That's what I would do to save Google Fi, honestly, and that's being reasonable. Now, if I just wanted to get the best prices for consumers and not give a shit about the business, then the Unlimited Plus plan would be $45 and the Simply Unlimited would be $25. I would compete against Visible with these 2 plans. And then I would knock down the price of the flexible plan, $5 for unlimited talk and text and $2.10 per gigabyte. That's if I'm like trying to like really push for consumers to get everything out of this and for the business to get nothing out of it. That's the prices I would set. But, the best I would take if they wanted to still remain being able to pay their end. And that's the thing too. Google Fi, yes, they have to pay T-Mobile for access to T-Mobile's network. But again, this is Google. Google's main bread and butter is not their Google Pixel phones. It's not their hardware options. It's not their phone service. It's advertisement. Google's main bread and butter is advertisement. They have a ton of money to spend. This is why they can innovate in the area of AI technology. They can innovate in these different stages is because they have the money to spend. And if they would just allocate some of that money over, they could pay ahead. They can negotiate a deal with T-Mobile and say that this is the type of plan that we're gonna have and we're gonna set to customers. We're going to have our Unlimited Plus at $45 a month. We're going to have our Simply Unlimited at $25 a month. We're going to have our flexible plan at, $5 a month for unlimited talk and text and $2.10 per gigabyte of data usage. We're going to pay you this much to have this access. If they had done that, Google Fi would be an unbeatable MVNO. I mean, sure, people will still have that slight, comparison. Like, oh, I'll stick with Visible because Visible has no data caps. The Unlimited Plus, you only get 50 gigs of high speed data and you're slowed down. Yes, but most people never really come close to 50 gigs. Like, honestly, when I was on Google Fi and I had the Unlimited Plus plan, I didn't come close to 50 gigs. The most I came close to was like 38 gigs, 37 gigabytes in a month. And that was just like not ever connecting to my home Wi-Fi and just running the regular data off the phone. How crazy is that? This is why Fi is not considered in the race yet. Like, they're good to have. They're good to have if you're traveling overseas. They are good to have. But if you're a person who just stays within the US, none of these plans are ever really going to be a good fit for you. None of them. I mean, they offer you good amount of stuff. They just yeah. They're just not that competitive against what's out there. Unlimited data calls and texts within US, Canada, and Mexico. Unlimited data with slower data after 50 gigabytes per person. Unlimited hotspot tethering counts towards your monthly data usage. Shareable data included for tablets and other devices, which is the data-only SIM cards. 6 months of YouTube Premium on us. 100 gigabytes of cloud storage with Google One. They are like in postpaid territory. Now comes the real mindfuck of all of it. Google Fi Wireless is actually compatible against postpaid options out there to a degree, and some of the benefits that you get. Some of the things that they don't mention here, because like you can get like full connectivity to select watches. So if you have like a Pixel Watch LTE model, you could add that on as a line that's connected to your main phone line. You have this family share, which includes spam blocking and location sharing for, on a family plan, if you're on a family plan. You can even have the VPN that they give Google One customers, a VPN, connection on your device to protect your device. You could do that. It is truly weird how Google Fi is. Yeah. Just one of those crazy scenarios. That's probably the only way where I see that Google Fi is competitive is against other postpaids, but they're not like fully compatible against them. Like other postpaids have things like home internet access, or they have certain subscriptions. I mean, it's this is weird. I don't know. I really wish that Google Fi would become competitive in that state. If they wanted to move and become a postpaid carrier and obviously build out their own network, they have the money to do it, and they could possibly do it. I mean, Boost Infinite's trying to do it. Just imagine if Google built out their own network. What up, Brian? What's going on? Yeah, they have decent international coverage. They do. They have good partnerships with countries for connectivity for their customers to be able to connect while they're overseas. But I mean, yeah, it's weird. It's crazy, man. Yeah, you do have to. That's absolutely right. For those who are considering using Google Fi for international, activate it at least minimum 24 hours before you travel. Because when you first activate services with Google Fi, the international services is not turned on until 24 hours later. So you have unlimited talk, you have unlimited text, you have your data usage you can use in the US, but the international calling won't be on just yet. You have to wait 24 hours. And that also goes for international data connectivity. You have to wait 24 hours after activation before you're allowed to do that. So at least minimum 24 hours before you travel outside the US. And it's really cool too, just on how it works. You don't have to do any configurations and settings. You don't have to do none of that. all you really have to do is just like look at your phone as you cross international lines in air, like if you're on an airplane, and it'll tell you things like, like welcome to, South Korea, welcome to China, welcome to Thailand. Like you'll just see that pop up on your screen. It's really cool. I do hope one day to return back to Google Fi as my service provider, like on their $65 plan, being able to have, their data only SIM card and use that fact. And when and if that day happens, definitely give my other Helium mobile line to one of my kids to use, and just continue to prepay the bill ahead as long as they map. I have no problem doing that. So, yeah, that is my thoughts on everything. If you guys had just joined in, catch the replay to find out what I had to say. Skip to like 5 minutes into the live stream. The first 5 minutes, I was just waiting for people to join and just kind of sharing like small little stories and little chit chat. So just skip ahead to 5 minutes, and that'll begin where I start talking about Boost Mobile and what happened with them. And then also the changes with Helium Mobile and what they're doing to make sure that you're not abusing their partners 1 month free promos, because people are just, these days everything costs so much. I don't blame people for trying to do that to save money, but obviously they're going to catch on, right? Like Mobile X had already caught on to people doing that. That's why if you try to sign up for Mobile X, they charge you $1.98 to activate, your free trial service with a brand new number. Unless you port your number over, then they waive that fee. And the reason why is because if you port your number over to them, that's your phone number. You're not going to jack around with your actual phone number. So, yeah, a lot of people are really trying to milk the system. So, but I don't know. One day when I return to Google Fi, I'll definitely let you guys know. I know for a fact I could never use my Pixel 6 on Google Fi because for some reason, one of their jackass customer service people blacklisted the IMEI when I was trying to activate it by eSIM, and it failed and it gave me issues. And then they try to tell me it's blacklisted and they'll never activate this on their services ever again. And it is an unlocked device. It's so stupid, like absolutely stupid. But that's for another time, another story. Until then, I appreciate you guys for being here. Y'all have been awesome. So, just be cool this weekend. More videos coming this week for you guys. Like, just be cool and safe out there. Especially with all these storms that are happening. Man, these storms have been crazy. But no more rambling. Talk to you guys later.